All right. I guess Chris didn't get the memo. It's the Corey Hart fan club today. Like Chris Sinzak told me on the last after show, because all three of us were wearing sunglasses, and Fabio didn't get the
Oh,
memo about
well,
sunglasses at night. Corey Hart fan club meeting.
yeah,
What's up, brother?
not much, man. What's going on?
All right, man. I just want to talk about the Grammys because it's going on right now.
Uh, yeah, I'm a little annoyed. I'm calling bullshit right off the bat. Like the Grammys are so irrelevant that it actually advertised that we can watch it on Paramount Plus, and then it turns out you got to have the Showtime add-on. So I call bullshit on the Grammys right from the word go. So there you go.
Oh, dang. I got the Showtime out on, but I don't give a fuck about watching it. I just get the cliff notes on Facebook.
Yeah, I would have loved to have watched it while I was talking to you about it, but I wouldn't actually waste my time otherwise. I unlike a lot of people think that I find the Grammys is irrelevant talk to be bullshit because it is. I mean, the reality of the situation is we all talk about it. Like we all talk about it. So it can't be irrelevant if everybody's talking about it.
Well, I like to talk about it because it pisses me off ever since Milli Vanilli won Best New Artist and
Whatever
Metallica didn't win for Best Metal.
relevance doesn't have a meaning though. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Relevance doesn't have a meaning. It's what's in the public eye, and I guarantee on Twitter and all the other streaming, like all the other social media sites, you will get this trending. The Grammys will trend for a second over tariffs and over Trump and all the other nonsense just for a minute, and then it'll go away. But that's what it'll do. So,
Yeah, well, I'm already calling bullshit on Best Rock Album from fucking the Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds. That was a fucking hack album full of AI and full of shit.
well, I don't know.
Jack White should have won for that one, man.
So, what is this AI claim you're making?
Oh, they had a lot of AI clean their shit up on that album, man. You could
Okay,
hear Mick doesn't sound like Mick.
when you say AI cleaned it up, do you mean just like in editing, like it's not fake
Well, his
voices?
voice went through an AI filter or something. It doesn't
Well,
sound.
yeah. So they've been doing that for years, dude. Like that's nothing new. It's just been different. It's just upgraded now. That's all. Editing albums is nothing new. No, like you find it. Excuse me. There are very few bands out there that go on stage and sound exactly the same way that they do on the album. I mean, my favorite example, somebody in your chat actually, I think it was might have been Mark Daly, who was going on and on about Def Leppard. Like he had a day where he was posting Def Leppard stuff all day. I've seen Def Leppard live many times. They have never sounded the same live as they do in person. Joe Elliott sounds like a completely different singer almost. Not bad, just different. So I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. If you're telling me that AI created the music, then I have a problem with that. That's different.
I don't know if they created it. But Jack White over the Rolling Stones, to me, Jack White is far superior than what the Rolling Stones are putting out now. It's just
Sure.
why. All my friends, I haven't heard the Jack White album, but I probably know it's amazing because I haven't heard anything bad from that guy ever. So,
So then I have a question for you then. How do you go about, like, you can't possibly stand on business when you make the assertion that Jack White should have beat the Rolling Stones album when you didn't even hear it. That's weird.
well, because I heard the
That
Rolling
sounds
Stone,
AI.
I heard the
That
Rolling,
sounds AI.
I heard the Rolling Stones album, and it was horrible.
All right,
So,
well, what were the rest of the nominees though?
fucking Jack White and
Hold on.
some,
Best rock performance.
yeah.
No, those are singles. Hold
Best
on.
rock album. It was
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Best rock album was Happiness Bastards by Black Crows.
yeah, that should have won. I've heard that one.
I hate that album. Romance by Fontaines DC. Saviors by Green Day, which was not very good. Tang K by Idols. Dark Matter by Pearl Jam, which I did not like.
I like those two albums.
And No Name by Jack White. I mean, out of all these albums that I have heard, I'm with you. I did not hear the Jack White album, and I'm surprised by that. I didn't even know he put out an album this year. I'm going to be real with you. Um, I've heard, I don't know Fontaine's DC. And again, I'm the thing that frustrates me about the Grammys the most is that they don't ever put out a rationale for why they're picking these albums or why they're picking things. Like some things are obvious. Like when Taylor Swift wins best album of the year every time she puts out an album, it makes sense because it was the most relevant and it was the most talked about album of the year in most cases. But like this year, for example, she's got a lot of competition. She's going to have to deal with Charlie XCX, which was one of the biggest albums of the year. She has, well, what are the best album of the year? Record of the year? No, album of the year. Andre 3000. See, I didn't hear that. But like
Oh
Cowboy
shit.
Carter. So out of these albums, Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, Short and Sweet by Sabrina, Brat by Charlie XCS, Billie Eilish was another one, Chapel Roan, Taylor Swift. These are all equally relevant artists right now. This will be a difficult thing to argue with unless they give it to Andre 3000 or Jacob Collier. Like, it's like the only two unacceptable choices.
They're gonna give it to Taylor Swift. Come on.
I'm not sure about that. I'm honestly not sure about that because Chapel, I mean, so through what prism are we looking at this? So are we looking through this? Are we looking at this through the current political bow at the knee, show your ass to Donald Trump prism and the way that we're doing things in this country? Because let's be real, everybody is definitely bowing down a little bit to the Fuhrer. And
Come on, man.
so at what point, like Beyonce's out because she was pro Kamala. Sabrina Carpenter's been kind of silent about the whole thing. Charlie XCX is out because she was pro Kamala. We know about Taylor Swift. Chapel Roan's not pro anything other than herself and just girl power. And Billie Eilish, who is anti Trump. So there we go. So that prism doesn't count here. Like that won't work here unless Jacob Collier or Andre 3000, which is highly unlikely that Andre 3000 is pro
I
Trump.
didn't even know that guy had a new album out either, and I like the band he was in.
Yeah, no, Outkast was dope. Don't get me wrong.
Outkast
And
was
Andre,
awesome.
yeah, and Andre 3000 is a great musician. From what I understand, that album, I didn't listen to it, but it's not like what you think it is. It's a lot of like spoken word and real musician-y shit. Like, and that's not to say that Outkast wasn't, but it wasn't a pop album. It wasn't from what I understand, it wasn't pop album. It wasn't like a rock record. It wasn't a hip hop record. It wasn't anything specific. It was really kind of avant-garde almost. So I don't know. I mean, I think the easy pick is Taylor Swift. I
Yeah.
do. I think Taylor Swift is the easy pick. And I don't know how you wanted to run this, but if you want to go through these nominees,
Go
and
for it. I don't even know what they are. If you have them up, bring them up, and
yeah,
I
well,
might have
let's do this.
But before you get going on there, I didn't listen to the Jack White album, but I did listen to fucking Pearl Jam, Dark Matter, and I did listen to Happiness Bastards. And I did a review on Hackney Diamonds, which is a horrible album. I hated.
Yeah, I completely
I'm a
disagree.
huge Rolling Stones fan, and it was just horrible for me to listen to how far they suck now. But Happiness Bastards and Dark Matter was bright spots for me this year. So
Yeah, I'm a fairly new Rolling Stones fan, as I would put it, because I'm weird. I think I've explained this on your show before, but I'm weird with fandom. Like I don't like to label myself a fan unless it's real. Like unless it's fucking real. Unless I'm like ride or die for a band, I don't consider myself a fan. Like for example, like I've never disliked, excuse me, a Foo Fighters album whatsoever. I've
I
seen them
love Foo
live.
Fighters.
I've seen them live like a dozen times. I've like Oh, I love everything Dave Grohl does for the most part, except for when he cheats on his wife with a young girl. And
I agree with that. Cheaters suck, man. I've been
so
cheated on, so I know how that feels. It
so
makes you feel
I
like a
so
piece
I
of
love
shit.
so I love everything Dave Grohl does in the music sense, and yet I struggle. I'm like reluctant to call myself a Foo Fighters fan. It's weird. Like I'm a Queens of the Stone Age fan. I
I love
love them Crooked Vultures, but like I would not necessarily call myself a Foo Fighters fan. So it's weird. So I'm weird with fandom. But going back to the Rolling Stones, the reason why I brought this up is so the Stones, I got into them. I never liked them. I never really paid them any mind. I was more of a Beatles guy. And
me
then
too.
and then I met my wife, and my wife is a huge Rolling Stones fan, especially the old stuff. So I used to hear it a lot. And then I started listening to it. And then I watched a documentary about drummers in general. It was on Netflix. I think it was called Drummer. I think it was that like straightforward. And these phenomenal drummers, Mike Portnoy, Danny Carr, one after another, went on and on about Charlie Watts and how he might be one of the most underrated drummers in history because of his groove, because his groove is incomparable. So then I went back and listened to the Rolling Stones with that in my mind, and it clicked. It all clicked. With that being said, everything the Rolling Stones have done since 1981, in my opinion, is dog shit.
Well,
Except for this newest album, which I actually found a few songs that I actually enjoyed. So That was a long.
I love Steel Wheels. Steel Wheels is a
Mm,
really great album for me.
but
And
that was
and
a long road to take just to say I thought it was a decent album.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
hate it.
the Hackney Diamonds sounded just like, hey, we're going through the motions. Let's just put out another. But I will give them credit for an old band. They are putting out new music. When you got one of your favorite bands, Kiss won't even touch new music, and it's
Well,
irritating to me.
it's not irritating to me because the last time they did music, it was dog shit. So so I'd rather not. I'm much. They've already floated out twice this year that well, a one-off show is possible, and I may kill myself. So I'm not even gonna. So anyway, record of the year, which is single of the year. We have the Beatles Now and Then, which is legitimate AI.
Well,
Um,
they just separated the vocals with AI. It didn't create it AI. It just separated the muddy shit.
well, either way, I think it's cool that the Beatles were nominated, but come on, like let's be real. I mean, the song was okay. It was all
Oh,
right,
I
but
love that song. It made me cry.
Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, huge song. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, same cast of characters. Billie Eilish, Charlie XCX, and Taylor Swift is on here, but she featured no, it was a song featuring Post Malone, Fortnite, and then it was Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. And look, if there's any justice in this world, Kendrick Lamar is not like us will win single of the year because I'm sorry, but to even be nominated, one, two, to have a charting song, and three, the song within itself accuses Drake of being a pedophile, you're winning to me.
Yeah.
So I
God.
think so for me, not like us for Kendrick Lamar would be the way to go. I think that would be the way to go.
I agree. I like Kendrick Lamar a little bit here and there. He doesn't have a groove compared to the old like hip hop shit like Dr. Dre and stuff like that. But he is different. He is different than all this hip hop shit that's coming out lately.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, there's a lot of good hip hop out there. You just got to look for it. I sent a guy to our buddy Andy over at Black Spinner Circle, a guy named Norman San out of Houston. He's got an old school flow. If you're looking for something like that, Norman San is fantastic. But yeah, no, Kendrick is one of the greatest of all time. I can't argue with anything he's done, and I'm not a big hip hop guy. I know enough to say that I know Kendrick is good. Like I know that. So. Um, Let me see what else we got. Song of the year, which is for the songwriters. Um, I'm gonna skip that because there's just a lot of names I don't know.
Yeah.
Best new artist. Um,
This is where
well,
they always fuck up.
I don't know half, but I don't know half of these. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter is a new artist, I guess. I mean, I don't know a lot of these names. Benson Boone, Doichi. I know her. She's fantastic. She's a great hip hop artist.
So she won't
Uh,
win because she's
no, she will
actually
not.
good. Yeah.
She's very good. Well, no, all these. I mean, Chappell Roan or Sabrina Carpenter is going to win this, and they're both great. I mean, I don't particularly love Sabrina Carpenter as a singer, or I don't like any of her songs necessarily, but she's a great performer. And as far as pop music goes, I think it's good. Chappell Roan, though, is a whole different ball game to me. Like, she's just a fascinating personality. She's a great singer. She's got a phenomenal voice. Um, so if it were me, I would pick Chappell Roan, but I think either Chappell Roan or Sabrina are gonna win this one. So, producer of the year, I don't care about. Songwriter of the year, I don't care about. Best pop solo performance. Yeah, let's look for the rock ones. I don't want to go through all these. I'm bored of that.
Yeah, we're old.
It's not that I'm old. It's just I don't know half these artists, and I
Right?
know more.
Because we
I
don't
know
want to
more
look
than
for them
likely.
anymore.
But I know more than no, I do because you know what it is like. So you got to remember, I'm different than you in the fact that I have young kids still. I
Yeah.
have two teenagers. I have two daughters that are 20 and 18. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and my two oldest sons are even really into the pop stuff. So like I hear enough of it to know. And whenever I hear something that perks my interest, I go and check it out. I like Taylor Swift. I like Billie Eilish. I like Chappell Roan. I love Lady Gaga. The
Oh,
song "Die with a
Lady
Smile" with
Gaga
her.
is amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
I
her
never put her down.
the song with her and Bruno Mars, "Die with a Smile," is phenomenal. That's a
I
beautiful
love
song.
Bruno Mars for one thing too. I
Yeah.
love him.
So,
He's got a funk and a groove. I love that shit.
but when I get into yeah, he's like the modern day James Brown. It's
Yeah, I
wild.
love Bruno Mars. I will never
Um,
talk shit about Bruno Mars,
but like
man.
with best new artists, you got like Benson Boone, like I said, Doichi, who I know by accident. I know Doichi through TikTok. I saw a TikTok of her and I was like, wow, this is a great flow. She's got a great flow. And then I went and looked at her. Krang Bin, I don't even know how to say that. Ray, Shabuzi, Teddy Swims. So I'm aging myself here. I'm dating myself, but I don't know these artists. I know the really popular ones, the Chapel Roans and the Sabrina Carpenter. And I'm willing to bet that if I go on Spotify right now and look up Shabuzi, there's no way they have less than 10 million followers, 10 million monthly listens. I guarantee it. I guarantee Shabuzi. Here you go. It came up right away.
You know what sucks for
Shabuzi
me?
has listen, Shabuzi, which you've never heard of before, neither have
No.
I. 26.5 million monthly listeners. Okay, that's absurd. Like that's absurd that this is an artist that exists, that is being nominated for a Grammy that I don't know at all.
How much does Def Leppard and Rush have? Just to see what that is.
So Kiss is always my barometer for everything because they don't seem to 15. Kiss has 15 million.
Uh-huh.
Rush only has 3 million.
What the
3.4 million
fuck?
monthly listeners.
Well, that's kind of understandable.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes
Def
sense.
Leppard has 7. So Kiss
7.
is double Def Leppard.
Ah, that sucks.
What about Metallica? Where's Metallica?
Oh,
That would be
Metallica's got to be way higher with the Black Album.
the same. The same as Shabuzi.
What?
Only
Oh,
1 million
same?
more. 26.8. Only 1 million more.
Oh, wow.
So, and then just to give some reference point here, the queen of all of it is Taylor Swift, who has 86.8 million.
Hey,
monthly
what does
listeners.
Queen have, by the way?
Queen's got a lot. I'm gonna guess Queen's in the 30, 40 range, close to 50, 48.5 million.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's what we're talking about here. So I mean, Ray, who's this guy? Who's this person? Ray? Is it a guy? Is it a girl? I don't even know. Let me see. Ray's another new artist. Let's see what. Ray's a woman, and she has 27. So she has more than Metallica, like Ray does.
Well, she's new, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what she does next year. We should like
But Chapel Roan's got 40 million. Like that's
Oh,
wild.
wow.
Like that's wild. So anyway, going down the line here. Let's see something that catches my interest here. Best rock performance. The Beatles won. The Beatles won for best rock performance.
That's old.
The Beatles, yeah, that was from the pre-show because they don't do the rock and metal ones during the live show
Yeah.
because nobody gives a fuck, sadly. But like up
Well,
against
the
Green
Grammys
Day,
don't give a
Idols,
fuck.
Pearl Jam, St. Vincent, who I love St. Vincent. But yeah, I guess the Beatles would win. The Black Keys, Green Day. I don't know. It's weird that but think about it for a second. The Beatles won the best rock performance for the 2025 best rock performance. Hasn't met in a studio since 1970. This band and 50. The last time that band met in a studio, I wasn't even in my dad's ball bag yet, and yet, they win the Grammy. That's weird.
They
Like,
won
what is
for,
the metric?
They won?
Yes, they won best rock performance. I guess that's best rock single. I'm gonna guess.
Right on.
And I was right
love
about the
that
best
song.
metal performance. We have a winner. You want to know who it is?
Gojira.
Gojira. And I was right about that.
Yeah,
I knew that.
I was happy they won because they are a newer band, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot Spirit Box was on here, but like Spirit Box was definitely the underdog here. Knocked Loose is like the hottest new metal band going right now. Especially since and then add in the featuring of Poppy on there. That that could have won. Gojira could have won. Metallica could have won. I would have accepted any of those three. Judas Priest, even though that song is fine and the album is good, and they made a little bit of a resurgence this year. They got into the Hall of Fame or whatever, and but they're not relevant enough to win this
Yeah,
award.
Judas Priest is amazing.
That okay,
The
but
last two albums rule.
so something. I have this discussion with you multiple times, and I think some people, and I had the same problem. Okay, as older people, we need to understand the difference between relevance and great. Okay, there's a lot of great out there. There's a lot of great out there. There's bands I love. Rush is great. You know, they haven't put out anything new. Dream Theater, I mean, they're not great, but whatever. They
New
shit the
album
bed.
coming out this month.
I don't want it. They're coming out this week. I'm petrified.
Why? I thought I only heard the first single. I don't want to hear the other three they put out.
The third single was the best one. The first single was okay for now. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's the best song on the album, then that's a bad sign. But it was good for a start. The second song was just boring and not good. The third song had some excitement to it, but kind of a lot of people were saying that it sounded like Paint by Numbers, Dream Theater. which isn't the worst thing in the world if we're getting Mike Portnoy era paint by number Dream Theaters as opposed to Mangini era paint by number Dream Theater. My biggest concern about the band, honestly, is it's still James LaBrie. It's still the singer. That's the bottom line. I feel like they can only write so much because he can't do anything. Like he's got like a 7 note range at this point. It's really upsetting.
Do you think they
So
should replace him?
the fan base will never accept it. It'll never happen.
I would.
I personally would think it's great, but based on the way that the fan base fractured when Portnoy left, who is a drummer, right? And granted, in this band, in this Dream Theater band, I've never seen a band with 5 members. I don't think. I can't think off the top of my head, but I've never seen a band with 5 members where if one of them were to leave, it's going to be a problem. Like, except for Jordan Rudess. I think Jordan Rudess is universally disliked by the
Yeah.
fan base, but at the same time, he's universally respected and thought of as the greatest keyboardist in the history of the world. So you give and take, right?
But then he made that one album.
Which wasn't bad. I mean, it's what it is. I look, keyboard player makes solo album. When is that ever good?
Yeah.
Find me one.
I love James LaBrie, but I'm thinking if they want to move on, they need to get somebody who could hit those notes again. Yeah,
Well,
that's just me.
I think the problem there is that the band won't do it. The band won't do it. After what happened with Mangini and Port, this is it. I think this is it. I think this is the last album. I think this is the last album. I think they'll tour for this album. I think they'll take a break. And then I would love so much if someone would listen to me once, because Kiss didn't listen to me. And I mean, granted, I didn't have their ear, but I wish I did. I hope that Dream Theater does a final tour in like 2, 3 years and they bring Mangini back and they do the dueling drummer type of thing, like 2 drummers on the stage, celebrate the entire catalog, call it a day before it gets too ugly. Because if this album comes out and it's mediocre, and then I have to go watch them live and hear LaBrie squeak all over the stage or not sing at all, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. And this is one of my top 5 favorite bands. So the love-hate shit with them and Kiss is real. Like, it's fully real. Like, I can't express how much I love and hate these bands simultaneously. It's wild. it's I can't express enough how weird it is to me. But
But they are playing Octavarium right now, and that's fucking amazing.
yes, it is. But again, you're going in like I'd almost wish like look, I know we've had this discussion before about like using tracks or using backing tracks.
Mhm.
I almost wish that LaBrie would be like, hey, look, like how much respect would you have for an artist who goes, hey, look, I'm trying to do the best I can. And I know you fans love me, and I know that you love this band, and I know that you don't want to see or hear a different singer. But I'm struggling out there, guys. Like, really, I cannot sing Metropolis again. I can't sing Pull Me Under anymore. So we're going to have some backing tracks to kind of just support me. I'm
As
still going to be out there and I'm still going to be doing it. But every once in a while, I'm going to be supported by something because I just
I
can't do it.
I've always said, as long as he's singing with those backing tracks, it's fine with me. If he's just sitting there miming them, that's not fine with. But if he's sing like Blackie Lawless was doing with Wasp, that is fine with me. Do that shit because you are actually singing live and you have some backing tracks. That is
I
fine
honestly
with
don't
me.
care if he never sings an actual note, as long as they're honest about it. That's the thing. Because the reality of the situation is no one ever like you go to a show and you watch something and you're blown away by it. You're like, oh, that guy, the drummer, he was phenomenal. You can see what he's doing. Like, you can see that he's doing it, right? It's very rare that a drummer has tracks and you don't notice. It's a rare occasion, okay? Guitars, basses, same shit, all the same thing. You know they're doing what they're doing, right? But with singers, you can easily hide that. And it's one thing, like if I go and I hear a recorded track and I go, okay, that sounds exactly like the album, you're not having a great, like, you're not going to be in awe of that performance anyway. Like, to me, unless somebody does something outlandish on the album that I've never heard live before, and I go, wow, I can't believe that that's a real thing. I thought that was a studio trick or something. That's insane. But you can't lie about it. You just can't lie about it. That's the thing that pissed me off. Like, I would have been totally fine if Paul Stanley would have been like, hey, I'm almost 70. I've had 3 hip replacement surgeries, and I'm still in good shape, and I'm still putting on a hell of a show. But my voice, it's old.
He
It's an
also
old
had
voice.
vocal surgery too.
Yeah, it's an old voice, man. I'm old. So this is like my new take. This all formulated when I saw Mr. Big live, and I heard Eric Martin, and I was like, this is going to be a rough night. And then all of a sudden, I heard Nick DiVirgilio backing him up, and I was like, oh, all right, fine. And Eric Martin made his way through the show. It wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't terrible. And there were certain times where I knew the notes and I knew what was coming. And I was like, that's a different voice. And then I look at the drummer and there he is, just singing away. That's great. Do that. Put someone backstage, put someone side stage, put someone in the back of the audience. I don't give a shit. Be like, give them credit. That person's helping me sing. I'm doing my thing. Let's have a show.
That's like what Whitesnake was doing with Dino. You know, he had Dino
Exactly.
helping David
Dean
Coverdale.
Castronovo, same shit. Exactly. And that's like something I think like if Extreme comes out again, they're gonna have to do something like that because Gary Sharon was good, but he was borderline. The last tour I saw, he was good, but he was having some moments where I was like, oh boy.
I agree with you. I saw that tour. I got the water right here.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
man.
but
Cool.
the thing is, my ex-wife Diane said, "Oh God, Living Color was way better than."
Oh my God, yes. I don't know if they
way
were way
better.
better. I don't know if they were way better, but they were fucking good. I mean, they were.
Dude,
they were
that
really
guy
good.
could sing still. Corey
Oh, yeah.
Glover. Oh my
Yeah.
God, is was. I think Gary had a cold on that episode, that show I saw him now.
Yeah, he wasn't bad when I saw him. The thing about the Extreme show, just going back a bit, is that I can honestly say that night, and I don't know if he was like this the entire tour, but that particular night, I watched Nuno Betancourt put on one of the top 5 guitar performances I've ever seen.
I agree.
Period.
I enjoyed that
Period.
show because of him.
Yeah, he was wildly good. Like he was incredibly good, and I was like, wow, and for me to say that, knowing that I've seen Ace Frehley, I've seen Alex Lifeson, I've seen John Petrucci multiple times. You know what I mean? I've seen these guitarists before who are like my favorites, Paul Gilbert and, all these guys. I've seen so many great guitarists that stood out. I've seen Eddie Van Halen on multiple occasions.
Me too.
That stood out. That shit stood out. Oh, well, Kendrick Lamar won Best Rap Performance. That's pretty dope.
Nice.
Let me see. You've got any other new? He won 2: Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance.
Maybe the Grammys is getting her shit together.
Well, it's like I said before. The thing that like I'll always go for like the Billboard Awards, right? Or the American Music Awards was another one that I used to love.
Yeah.
I used to love the American Music Awards because
I did too.
to me the American Music Awards was the People's Award. And the Grammys were the industry award. And that's what that was. And that's still what I mean, there is no more People's Award essentially that matters. Nobody cares. The MTV Video Music Awards and the American Music Awards were the people's choices, in my opinion. That's the way it always played out. All my favorite artists always won on those 2 shows.
Exactly.
Never the Grammys. Never the Grammys.
Yeah,
I don't know
Grammys
what the
was always
People's Show
shit.
is now.
Grammys was like participation award to me. It's like Milli Vanilli. Come on, man. How did they
it's
win
not-
best new?
It's
best
not
new artist?
participation. It's industry award. That's what it is. It's people in the industry glossing each other. That's what it is.
They're just sucking each other's dicks on that.
Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go that far, but I understand what you're saying. I get you. I get what you're saying here. Let me see, what else do we got here? Best dance electronic, best dance pop dance recording. Yeah, I actually the other night, what did I watch the other night? I watched the Video Music Awards from like 1992, and it was the night that it was a lot of things happened in that show that was crazy.
Was that with Guns N' Roses with Elton John?
I didn't get that far into it. I got about halfway through, but that
Did Black Crowes open?
that was the night that Chris Novoselic knocked himself out.
Yeah, that was the night that Black Crowes opened. I just heard Steve Gorman's book, and he was talking about that, and they had them. Dana Carvey had them open up, like
Dana Carvey was the host,
warm up the audience, the Black Crowes, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. I don't fucking care. Chris Robinson was a dick. Steve Gorman's a pimp. I'm just gonna say it when you listen to the book.
I didn't love the new album, but Shake Your Moneymaker is amongst my favorite albums of that decade, of the 90s. I love that album so much. That's the type of like blues rock that I loved back then. Like Twice as Hard and Jealous Again are such great songs, and like there's so many good
But
so many good songs on that
the
album.
new album with Rats and Clowns, dude, that song is one of the best songs I've heard in years, dude.
You know, to me, the thing about it, I'll tell you, the thing about it that bothered me is that I was, you know, I haven't listened to the Black Crowes in a while. I don't even know if they put out any new albums since the 90s. I know Americana and or whatever it was called. Was it America?
Amorica.
Amorica, yeah. And Lions was another one, right?
Lions
And
is one of my favorite albums
yeah,
by them,
those
dude.
were decent albums. I was okay with that. But when you go away for as long as they did, and then you come back and you sound almost exactly the same,
They didn't sound exactly the same because they made jam Grateful Dead albums like Beyond the Frost or whatever.
it was
That was
just
like fucking, it was like, to me.
it sounded like rehash Shake Your Moneymaker to me. That's what bothered me. And to me, if I'm gonna listen to Black Crows, and if I want to hear rehash Shake Your Moneymaker, I'll just put on the actual album. Like that's so I to say that it was crap, I think is an overstatement. I think I was being hyperbolic there. Like it wasn't a shitty album. It was just boring. It was just more of the same to me. That's all.
It wasn't boring. They went back to their old sound, which we want old bands to do. We don't want them to
I don't.
explore shit anymore.
I don't because like Extreme put out an album that was fresh, new, sounded similar to their old shit, but wasn't the same.
I
It
love
wasn't the
that
same.
last Extreme album.
I
Fucking
thought it was
amazing.
great. That's what I'm saying.
Great
It was
album.
so it sounded like them without sounding exactly like an album that came out in the
So
past. That's what
what
I'm
was
getting.
that? That Rainbow song? I fucking love that song, dude.
I liked almost every song. I think there was
I
two songs on that album I can do without, but
well, I could do without the reggae song they did.
yeah, there was some, but again, I give them credit for at least branching out and trying to do something different. It's one of the reasons why I really respect and like Extreme more than any of the other bands that try to do anything from that era is because, except for maybe Winger, because like Winger is the same way though. They try and do different things. Like Winger tries to
That
do
last Winger album was amazing also.
so good, so
Yeah.
good. That shit was incredible. Like I'm hoping I just decided because I just found out they're playing M3 in a few months, and I'm hoping to try and go to that because
Yeah, you should because Stephen Piercy and Warren D. Martini are going to be there, man.
yeah, that's actually not too bad. I haven't
You
heard.
you could skip David Lee Roth, even though he's going to suck.
Oh, I can't wait to see that train wreck. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be great.
There's a lot of good dude. I wish these fucking like M3 and shit would play fucking California, man. I want a
Dude, you
California jam. I want a fucking US festival again, man.
yeah, but I
Where
mean,
the
you have
fuck
one of
are the shit in California? They play that fucking that shit where Metallica, Judas Priest played. You know, I'm not gonna go to the desert. Fuck that shit.
where are you talking about?
You know, remember when Metallica, Judas Priest played
You talking
that
about Aftershock Festival?
aftershock? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fuck.
Aftershock's in Sacramento. It's not the desert. What are you
No,
talking
they
about?
had one where they're playing that where that country festival's at. And where that other festival's at, the same fucking place, dude.
I don't know, but like if I were in California, I used to go to Aftershock every year when I lived there. And
It wasn't Aftershock, man.
Aftershock this year, let me see what's the lineup this year. Let me see. I mean, I'm not gonna try and go this year because I don't think I love the lineup, but now I have to look at it again. What the fuck? Can I see what the lineup is, please? Why is the website so stupid? Why is Aftershock's website so stupid? How do you not have the lineup? How do you not have the lineup like right on the front page? Like, how do you do this?
It was Power Trip that Judas Priest and Metallica played. Into
Never even heard of that one.
yeah, AC/DC
When was
played there
that?
too.
When was that?
That was the same place that that country festival's at, man.
No, but what year was it, dude?
That was like a couple of years ago, dude.
It was called Power Trip.
2023. It was like 2 years ago.
Here we go. Lineup.
Because Metallica was there, Rock, Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden was there. Ozzy was supposed to play there, but he pulled out.
So like, so take for example, like just 6 hours north of you, right? That's where
It was
Sacramento
it
is.
was in Indio,
Oh,
California, the desert.
Sacramento
That's
is about 6 hours north of you, right?
yeah.
And if I lived in California, if I didn't live here, I wouldn't go. Like, I'm not gonna go to that festival flying from here because that's ridiculous. Um, for this lineup because I don't like this particular lineup. But like on the Thursday, you got the Pantera. You got Pantera. You got Slayer, which I hate. But you got Hailstorm, Seven Dust, Ministry, Static X, Filter, Biohazard. Better Lovers is fucking insane. Um, I mean, this is a festival you should drive up to, man. Like, if you have the money
Okay,
to pay for the passes, let me
it's
see. Wait, that's only one day. That was only one day. Friday, the second
it's
day.
Coachella where Power Trip was at.
Okay, gotcha. But like the Friday lineup, you got Evanescence, you got Rise Against, Mastodon, Dropkick Murphys, Poppy, LS Dunes. This is actually a decent festival this year. This is definitely they stepped it up a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean you got your headliners. What's the headliner here? So is it Slipknot? Yeah, Slipknot's the headliner on Friday.
Yeah, I'm really
Uh,
happy about Slipknot. Yeah, we'll
Saturday,
see.
you got Kubla Khan, which is one of the heaviest bands going right now. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest on the same day in Sacramento. Dude,
Oh
Anthrax on
shit.
the same. Body Count, Clutch, POD, Bad Wolf. I
Oh,
mean,
dude, I would go see for Iron Maiden, fucking Judas
so
Priest, Clutch,
go.
and
What are
Vital.
you doing?
Where is that at?
It's in Sacramento. It's
I
in
ain't going to
October.
Sacramento, man.
Why?
Unless Tesla's playing.
You're sitting there whining about there's no festival. Motley Crue is gonna be there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want to see Motley Crue. Yeah.
Theater, Tom Morello,
I would see
Badflower,
Tom Morello.
Eagles of Death Metal, Ginger.
I
This is a
would see
decent. This
Eagles.
is a great festival. If I
But
didn't live
but
across the country, I would go Power Man 5000. Uh, yeah, man. If I were you, then if you don't want to drive to Sacramento, then quit whining about there not being festivals in California.
well,
That's
they did have Power Trip when had Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Tool was there.
Aftershock is one of the premier festivals in the country.
I think Power Trip's coming pretty up in India, but the thing is, I don't like festivals, dude. I don't like to stand all day. I'm old. I need a chair. I'm old.
So get yourself a VIP ticket and sit in the lounge. You can do
Do you
that.
do I have money for that? No,
Well, that's a different question. See, you didn't say that.
yeah, I'm
And I and I
poor.
and I tend to forget that I get this shit for free because I'm a media person. So
Well, if you could get me shit for free, I need two tickets.
you know what, dude? If you would have asked me that 4 years ago, I might have hooked you up. But I have a wife now, so everything I do counts plus one. So
Well, if you ain't coming to California, you can get me the California festivals.
oh, I've done that before, but I didn't put it for it's too late for this year. But
Uh,
maybe next year.
that's
If
cool.
if it's a subpar lineup, I'll send you as my
A
you'll get
subpar lineup. Thanks.
yeah. I, well, subpar for me. So let's put it this way: like this lineup at Aftershock, the only reason why I wouldn't fly across it because this is a good lineup in reality. In reality, this is a good lineup. But for me, at this point in my life, like you're right. I don't like standing around at festivals either. The last festival I went to, especially when it's hot. Now, in October in Sacramento, I've been to that festival 4 times. 2 times was brutal, 100 degrees every day, horrendous. 2 times, fine, 75 degrees every day, perfect. Like, so it really depends on what's going on. The last festival I went to was not this past spring, but the spring before was another Danny Wimmer festival, which is the name of the company who runs Aftershock. They have like 5 of them across the country, and the other one was Sonic Temple, and it's in Columbus, Ohio, and it's on Memorial Day weekend usually. But this last 2 years ago, they did it in the middle of the month, and the weather was fucking perfect. It was 70 and sunny and just wonderful, and the lineup was perfect and great headliners. It was Kiss, and it was Foo Fighters, and it was Tool, and Queens of the Stone Age. Great lineup, just
I
great
love all
shows
those bands.
across the fucking board.
Even Kiss, I would have seen Kiss.
Oh, it was great. It was the last time I got to see Kiss, and I didn't have to pay for it. It was the best victory I got of 2023, honestly, because that was my goal. My goal was to see that farewell tour without having to pay for it, and I got it. I did it. So this lineup here, though, is great. This Aftershock lineup 2025 is fantastic, but it's not fantastic enough to make me fly across the country. Like that's the deal. I've seen Slayer enough and I hate them. I've seen Pantera 20 times. I don't need to see them. And I saw them in their OG form. I don't need to see Scab Pantera. Not interested in that. Hailstorm I've seen more times than I can possibly count. Seven Dust is the same way. I love them both. I don't love Hailstorm. I love Seven Dust though. I like
I
Hailstorm.
love Hailstorm now.
I want to see Better Lovers more than life itself, but they're only going to play for 35 minutes. So I'm not going to fly across the country for that, right? I know they're going to tour here at some point. So that's the perfect example. Like all the bands that are headlining or whatever, I've seen them so many times. And the bands that I haven't seen that I really want to see, like Ginger or Better Lovers or LS Dunes, they're only going to play for like 35 minutes. and then that's it. So it's not worth going and fighting 100,000 people in the heat, flying across the country for bands that are only going to play for 35 minutes. I'd rather just wait for them to come around here, which they will sooner than later, probably. So
I agree with you on that shit, man. I don't like festivals. I like to go see a like an opening act and a closing act, you know. I did
yeah,
see the Metallica like the 2 days where they had the Friday and the Sunday, which was amazing. I never got to see Pantera, so that was cool seeing the ska Pantera for me, but Five Finger Death Punch was horrible.
yeah,
I don't
Five
know
Finger
why.
Douche Punch is amongst the worst bands in fucking
They
metal.
are a horrible band, dude.
L-
And I
Like
saw
literally, I consider fans of I consider it like if I see someone with a Five Finger Douche Punch shirt on, I consider it like a person that I know I'm not going to get along with.
you
Like I
know
know it.
who was better was fucking Wolfgang WVH, man.
Yeah,
That was a good show. I saw him opening up for Alter Bridge was a great band too to see live. If you ever see Alter Bridge,
I
go
have.
check
Yeah,
them out.
yeah.
Really
Alter
great band,
Bridge.
man.
What's his name?
Miles
Miles
Kennedy.
Kennedy. Miles Kennedy had me weeping at a festival. So speaking of festival stuff, I went to a festival called Rock on the Range, which is Sonic Temple now, but it used to be called Rock on the Range in Columbus, Ohio. And it was the weekend that Chris Cornell died, and
Oh,
Soundgarden was supposed to headline one of the days. Like Soundgarden, I was set to interview Chris Cornell. Like it was weird. Like I was working in the newsroom at my radio station here in Pennsylvania, and it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday, and I was leaving for the festival the next morning on Thursday, and Soundgarden was supposed to play Thursday night, and I was supposed to interview Chris Cornell Thursday. News broke 5 a.m. Wednesday morning while I'm in the newsroom getting my broadcast ready that Chris Cornell was found dead. And I'm like, what? So the rest of the festival became a Chris Cornell tribute. And their spot, instead of putting another band in their spot for headlining, they had all the artists that were there come out and just do like Soundgarden tunes and have like moments of silence and say words. And it was cool. Live was the band that was right before where Soundgarden was supposed to play,
oh, I
and
love
they were
live.
friends. Yeah, and they were friends. Like they came up the same time. So, and but the next day, Alter Bridge played, and they did "Say Hello to Heaven," and I almost fucking died. Like the whole audience. I've never seen so many grown men just weeping because Miles Kennedy not only owned that shit, but like it was like Chris Cornell was there. It was incredible, dude. It was just such a good. It was a
Yeah,
good
I don't
vibe.
understand how Miles Kennedy gets a lot of shit. It just pisses me off.
Who
But
gives him shit?
a lot of people in the like groups were in. It's like I don't like his
So
voice, you know.
a
Blah,
lot of
blah, blah.
people in the groups we're in are old curmudgeony men who don't give a fuck about anything except for what they like.
I'm an old curmudgeony man, but I think I have
And you don't give a
more.
shit about anything except for what you like.
Yeah.
You've
I
proven
I
that time
just
and
tell
again.
people, I said, fuck you. I love Miles Kennedy. I love fucking Alter Bridge. I love this
Exactly.
shit. And
Exactly.
I try to like listen to newer bands. I try to get out there and not be like stuck in my old ways. You know, I'm not like, well, I'm going to listen to Rush. I'm going to listen to this band. I'm going to listen to that band. No, I want to hear new bands. I want to hear people like take the rock flag when these bands are dead to fucking like wave the flag of good music, man. I don't want to fucking rock to die because these bands died. It pisses me off. It's like I don't want to listen to Van Halen. I go fuck you. There's other bands besides Van Halen with Daily Roth out there. Fucking get out of your fucking hole. Pisses me off.
I mean, I agree with you. I think there's a difference between people who listen to music and people who hear music. I don't want to get too philosophical on it, but there are those group of people who just listen to music. It's either background or and they like what they like and they listen to what they listen to. And there are some people who get stuck in their ways. My brother's the perfect example. My brother's 9 years older than me, right? And every once in a while, I'll try and throw something at him because I've been listening to new shit my whole life. Like my whole life, I can honestly tell you that I think every year of my life, I pick up a new artist or band or thing that I like.
Same thing with
I
me.
I never stay stagnant ever. I try to do things like, you know, would you have caught me dead listening to hip hop and rap in the mid '90s? No, no, I wouldn't have. I liked the Beastie Boys. That was it. Like I liked, and I liked them because they did rock and punk songs.
Run DMC
Like
also.
I didn't like Run DMC when I was a
Well,
kid. I didn't like rap when I was a kid.
Even
And
before Aerosmith, I liked them. So
and part of the reason why was because I had people who have grown up to be these people that you're talking about, ignorant, like closed-minded metalhead guys who just metal. If it's not metal, it's shit. Like one
Yeah,
of those guys,
exactly.
and
Pisses
it
me
drives
off.
me crazy. So like, and they're the same people that would like. I loved Rush my whole life, and they would just nail on like 80s Rush. So all the keyboards, all the things, whatever, man. That's your thing, right? And that's fine. So that's why like excuse me, I didn't stray further than like Prince when it came to like outside of rock and metal.
Oh, I love Prince.
I pretty much stayed with rock and metal until I was an adult. And it wasn't until I came out of my dad bubble, honestly, because from like 2000 to like 2010, I was in this bubble. I got married, I popped out 6 kids. I was in dad bubble. Like that was it. So I didn't hear new music unless it was one of my core bands. Dream Theater comes to mind. Dream Theater is the only band that was in my core group of bands that consistently put things out that I enjoyed during that time period.
Dude, I
And then
was
I picked,
listening to like Incubus and Linkin Park and POD.
yeah,
I
I
was
was
listening to
familiar
all,
with it. Of
yeah,
course, I was familiar with that. I was familiar with Linkin Park. I picked up Coheed and Cambria. That was one of the only other bands that I picked up
yeah.
along the way. Protest the Hero was another one I picked up in the 2000s to the 2010. But like for the most part, I wasn't searching out new music. It wasn't until like 2007-ish when I started working at Sirius Satellite Radio that I was introduced to a whole bunch of new things. And then I became a host of my own segment called Progtology 101. And I started to have to research things. So I did. So I wound up, learning a whole bunch really fast. And I had access to a lot of things. Um, God damn. My crypto is, that shit's crashing. Fucking Trump. Cunt. Anyway.
We ain't
Can't.
on politics on this episode, but you already
I
brought
know,
it
and I'm
up a couple
sorry.
times.
I am guaranteeing you have some MAGA in your fucking fan base. So I'm
Probably.
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know.
I
I
do
didn't mean to
have
bring that
some
up.
Democrats also, so we're good.
Yeah, I know. But I don't want to ruffle feathers. I know someone's gonna come in. Whoa, he's your president. Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah. Enjoy. Anyway, but no, but the point
Enjoy.
is in all of that is that I know exactly the guy you're talking about. Like, for example, I went to a festival back in 2013 called Rozfest, the Rite of Spring Festival. It was here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I actually flew out from California to here because it was a progressive music festival in like a theater. It was in Gettysburg. It wasn't that big. It was like 5,000 people. It wasn't a huge festival, but it was in a theater for like 3 days. And the lineup was insane when it came to like progressive rock and progressive metal, underground shit. I think the most famous band there was like the Flower Kings or maybe Riverside, or I think those were like the two most popular bands on the bill. So if you're not familiar with either one of those, you're not going to know anybody else on the undercard. But rest assured, I can promise you as a progressive music guy, top notch fucking lineup. But I went to this festival, and the reason why it was top notch is because it was filled with a bunch of new trending type of prog metal and prog rock. Not your old Yes and Genesis sounding shit. It was more metalish. Pain of Salvation is more of a metal band. Jolly was more of a metal band. Who else? Bolus was a kind of a metal band. So they got all bent out of shape. Like they were like, so the old curmudgeony regulars at this progressive festival literally had discussions with me about how Dream Theater is not a progressive band. And I'm like, on what standard? So, well, they don't sound like Genesis. Well, no shit, they don't sound. It's called progressive for a reason. This is the type of shit we deal with in metal too. It's the same shit. Oh well, Poppy's not metal. Really?
I always
Really?
go off on old curmudgeon people.
Really? Poppy's not metal. So and I don't mind people who are fixed in their ways. Like I said, I don't mind my brother. My brother listens to the same shit he's always listened to. And he'll listen to new version, like when Warren puts out a new album, he'll listen to it. If Mr. Big or whoever, he'll listen to it. He likes his
I
band.
do too, but I try to look for newer bands like Dust Coda.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the difference here is that, and I don't know the new bands that you check out or listen to. So if you threw me a list, I might be able to go, okay. The thing that he does though, and maybe you do the same, is that the new bands that you like tend to sound like the ones you already like.
it kind of.
Yeah. Like you don't really expand your like soundscape
But I
all that
did
much.
like the new Marilyn Manson album, and I never liked Marilyn Manson.
Does it sound
So
like old stuff?
I don't
Like
know
not
because
his
I
old stuff, other
it
people's old stuff
it
that you
didn't
like.
sound like old stuff to me because I
I
don't
haven't
like
heard
his
it.
old stuff.
I mean, Marilyn Manson proves himself to be a piece of shit, so I don't
Well,
really.
it just sounded like in like what do you call like Bauhaus,
Okay.
uh Love and Rockets, like old like new wave like
So all
goth
stuff you
stuff.
like.
Yeah, it did sound like. Yeah, you're right. You got me on that. I do like the old stuff that sounds like newer stuff. Yeah, I got it. But I try to find new
Eh,
stuff that
please don't take it. Please don't take it
expands
the
me
wrong way.
too.
Yeah, please don't take it the wrong way. I'm not criticizing. People are just fixing their ways, and that's okay. And I'm not even against people doing like criticisms or critiques on new things that they even necessarily don't like, right? But I can't stand like for example, the example you gave was that um somebody said like, "Oh, this guy's voice sucks." Like Miles Kennedy. That's how this started.
Yeah.
Miles Kennedy sucks. Okay. First off, no. No. Even if you don't like him, the answer is no. Like he doesn't suck. That's stupid. All right? I don't like Axl Rose's voice in general. I like their music. I like Guns N' Roses, but in general, if I was choosing a singer, Axl Rose would be one of the last. Would I dare say he sucks? No. I might say he's not very good live. He could be better
No,
live.
I've seen him twice live. It's horrible. Yeah.
Right. I'm sure he could be better. But at the same time, on the album, he's just fine. He does okay. Like, whatever. He's not my style of voice, but I like their music and I like the way he fits with the band. I would never in a million years say that an artist who A, has successfully recorded something, B, has successfully sold music to people, and C, goes out and continues to do it. You can't say that person sucks. You
I
can
could
say
say
you
the
don't like their.
Backstreet Boys suck.
But can you? How can you? Like I understand that I'm getting semantical on a word suck. I get that. Like I understand. But to me, like if you're gonna be taken like, not that if you're gonna be taken seriously, for me personally, to be taken seriously, and as someone who has done it, like I am a musician, I am a singer. So I've toured parts of the country. I've been in stage plays where I got paid. I got paid to be a musician. Like I was a professional musician for years. As someone who has done it, I can honestly tell you that shit's fucking hard. That shit's fucking hard.
I
I
agree with you on that. It's very like even though I don't like the Backstreet Boys, there's people out there like them. It's okay if you like them. It's just they're too catchy for me. I like Aha and I like Oingo Boingo, and everybody says they suck to me, and I don't give a fuck.
I
You know.
mean, whatever. But think of it this way. How many times have you said to me in conversations just chatting about content and YouTube, how many times have you and I both said, I don't understand why this video is not getting as many views as I think it should. It's really quality. It's really good. You
Yeah.
know why? Because this shit is hard. It's hard to get people's attention and it's hard to get people's attention and keep it. That's even harder. So like that's why whenever anybody, and I do mean anybody, and I will fight this fight forever. Anyone who says Taylor Swift sucks or anybody has anything bad to say about her, bring them to me because what? So the Beatles suck too then, right? Is that what you're saying? The Beatles? Elvis?
I don't say Taylor Swift
James
sucks.
Brown?
I just said I just don't care for her voice.
Awesome.
She's a phenomenal songwriter. She can
Awesome.
write music.
There you go.
I just don't want to hear her voice.
And it's not your style and it's
No,
not something you like. I totally
she
get
doesn't
that.
suck. She
It's like I
doesn't
just said
suck.
before. How did I
Yeah,
handle Sabrina Carpenter earlier? You heard me talk about her. I
yeah.
think I've seen her, great performer, decent voice. I don't like her music. So you'll never catch me listening to Sabrina Carpenter. But I gave all the respect in the world that I could while criticizing the fact that I don't like it. And I can go into why I don't like it. But like, and that's just a me thing. And I go after anybody who says these things. Like that's why every time you say someone sucks, I'm like, dude, come on, really? Dude. Dude, dude.
It basically vocals with me like Ghost. I don't understand why I don't like Ghost because I like new wave and
I
goth.
don't understand why you don't like Ghost either.
I should like Ghost, but I can't get into Tobias's
That
voice.
is an anomaly to me, man. I don't
It is.
understand why you don't like Ghost. That
I don't
doesn't
I
make
love The
sense.
Cure. I love Bauhaus. I love Peter Murphy. I don't understand why I don't like Tobias's voice. It makes
Yeah,
no
I,
sense to
I
me
don't get it
also.
either. Dude, I don't get it either. I don't even know. Even with the voice, I don't understand how you can't get past it because the music is so like ingrained in everything you like. It doesn't
I
make sense.
know. I
Show
don't
the show.
understand. Same thing with Slayer. I can't stand Tom
No, no, no.
Araya's
See, no,
voice.
no,
I
no, no,
can't
no, no, no.
get into
See,
Slayer.
no, hold on. No, no. See, you went and did it. There are reasons to hate Slayer.
Oh, I gotta write this down. That's gonna be
Slayer's
a
the
good.
most underrated shit there, overrated shit there is. Period. If there's ever been a band that you can point at and go right place, right time, it was Slayer. Because if they would have came out at any other time in history, especially after that movement, like if they would have shown up in the '90s, they would have gotten smashed. They would have never made it. They're dog shit compared to everything that came after them.
I agree with you. Totally.
That's why like look, I know who is it? One of you hate Anthrax. I don't remember which one, but
That's Jerry.
Joe.
Jerry.
Joe hates Anthrax too.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Joe
I think
Jerry.
Joe hates later Anthrax. No, he hates Anthrax. I remember Joe.
Both
Joe does.
Joe and Jerry hate Anthrax.
So, but even with that, they fucking smash Slayer. Like, oh my God, it's not even close. It's like not even close. And like even lyrically, there's nothing great lyrically there. I mean, I will laud a death metal band because they come up with some creative ass lyrics, man. Slayer does nothing for me. God, Death Angel and Exodus and Voivod and oh God, all these bands that were so much better than them that just got swept under the rug. Metallica smashes them. Megadeth, it's not even fucking close. And I hate Dave Mustaine, but it's not even close. Slayer is such overrated garbage. And then to go see them live and to have them replace Dave Lombardo with some drummer who can't keep up, that shit's embarrassing.
Dave Lombardo's my favorite part of Slayer.
Well, of course. And
Yeah.
I like Jeff Hanneman too. I think Jeff Hanneman was a tremendous guitarist.
And the rest of the
I
band
don't-
sucks.
And I don't like the music he wrote, but like, and he wrote the majority of the music. But he was a solid guitarist. I give him that. And I don't even dislike Tom Araya's voice so much.
Ooh, I
I
can't
just
stand it.
don't like the band as a whole.
They
It's
have no
just-
groove.
it
They
has
have no
nothing.
groove.
They have nothing. They have nothing.
Metallica and Anthrax and Exodus had a fucking groove, dude.
Yeah, they had songs.
They had songs. They had songs. They had a groove. I can't stand Slayer, man.
And maybe
I tried.
again, and
Same
maybe
thing.
again,
but
early on.
but Ghost is like, why don't I like that band? They have everything I like in them, but Tobias's voice is just so mechanical to me. I can't stand it.
So
You
how
know?
many times have you tried to listen to Ghost?
A lot, a lot.
Like, have you ever sat and listened to an entire album?
Yes,
Like
I
just in
have.
headphones
a
while you
lot
were
of,
doing
a
something
lot of
else?
albums with Ghost, dude. I tried.
You've
Same thing
tried.
with Slayer. I
That's
tried.
fair, dude.
Yeah. I wanted to like Ghost. I wanted to
this
like
is
Slayer, but I
collapsed.
can't. It doesn't click for me. And I don't Ghost is an anomaly for me because they do everything I like in a band, but I can't stand Tobias's voice. It's weird for me, you know.
Yeah,
But man,
it's wild.
yeah, it's weird, dude. I love Bauhaus. I love Love and Rockets. I love The Cure. I love band Depeche Mode, but and Ghost reminds me a lot
Dude,
of
it does.
that
And you
band.
like 80s metal and you like it doesn't make sense, dude. It
It
just
doesn't
doesn't
make sense to me. I've
It's a weird
tried.
anomaly, brother.
I don't want to be a dick and talk shit about Ghost because they have a lot of elements I like, but I can't like them.
Well, don't talk shit about them then. Just leave them alone.
Well, I do. I just say enjoy.
Just say I'm not a fan, period.
I'm not a fan. Enjoy it for me. I can't stand it. But man, Chris, I gotta go take a piss. And I gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
All right, man.
Thank you, man, I love you, brother.
Yeah.
Politically, you make a lot of great points.
I make all
And
the great points.
politically, I don't care about politics.
Yeah,
So
so you
fuck
don't have to talk about it.
politics.
I don't even know why you brought it up just now.
Because you brought it up through most of the
I
episode.
brought it up earlier, but I just let it go. I didn't bring it
All
up
right.
most of the episode. I said it twice.
You said twice.
I'm literally losing money because of the mango Mussolini. I can't be happy about it. So
All right.
I'm literally as I'm on here watching one of my stocks collapse because of him.
I get it, man. I'm in love with you. I love you, Chris. You're an amazing guy.
Hey, thanks, man.
Let's get the fuck out of here, man.
All right, brother.
Love you,
Talk
bro.
to you later.
Later, man.